Need to connect a backend server to Salesforce without a user logging in? You need a JWT Bearer Flow. I'm going to show you how to generate your private keys and set up server-to-server authentication the right way. JWT stands for JSON Web Token. This flow allows your backend app to authenticate with Salesforce without user interaction, which is perfect for background jobs or system-to-system integrations. It uses asymmetric cryptography or asymmetric encryption. This means one key to sign and different key to verify. A JWT token or an assertion consists of three parts: a header, payload, and signature. The header consists of the algorithm name. The payload includes claim. It's a JSON string consists of information which is unique to your org in case of Salesforce. And the last part is the signature, which basically is the signature string of your private key. Now that you know about the JSON Web Token, how do you generate the public and private key? And how do you give Salesforce your public key? Let's look at it with an example, and I will show you how to generate the keys and how do you assign the keys to Salesforce and how do you authenticate in the end. Here we have a split screen view with a folder above and terminal below. First we are going to check if we have OpenSSL installed in our machine. As you can see, in my machine OpenSSL is installed. Now we are going to create a passkey. If you see, there is a password in passkey. I'm just putting a random password. You can put it whatever you want. And we are using RSA 2048 algorithm. Once you press enter, you will see a passkey is created with the file name you have specified. Now, using this passkey, we are going to create a private key. You will enter this following command to create the private key using this passkey. Once the private key is created, you can delete the passkey now. We don't need it anymore. Now, you need to create a self-signed certificate using the private key. I'm going to change the name of this private key so that it makes more sense. Once you enter the command to create the certificate, you will be asked to provide some basic details. You can fill it as you wish based on the information you need to provide in the certificate. Once the certificate is created, you will see a .csr file. Now, using this certificate, we need to create a digitally signed certificate using this certificate as the base and the private key. So we'll enter the following command to create the certificate. I will leave the link in the description below to all these commands and the official documentation of Salesforce JWT Flow and how to create this certificate. Once you press enter, you will have the .crt file. This is our final certificate which we will use to upload into connected apps. If you open this certificate in a notepad, it will look something like this. Now, let's set up connected app in Salesforce. In your Salesforce org, go to Setup, App Manager and create a connected app. Enter the basic details and come to the Auth section. Here, click on Enable Auth Settings and you have to enter the callback URL. Since it is a server-to-server connection, the callback URL doesn't even matter here much, so you can enter anything. Now, click the checkbox where it says Use Digital Certificate. Here, you need to upload the digitally signed certificate we just created. After that, you need to select the auth scope as per your requirement. Once selected, you can go and save the connected app. After saving the connected app, you will see the certificate details in the auth section, whatever the option you have entered during the creation of the certificate. Now, you can go to the Manage Connected App, and in this section, you have to change one important detail. Because it is a server-to-server connection, we cannot have a user interaction in between. You need to change the policy to admin approved users are pre-authorized. That way, there is no user interaction required. You can control the server security using the IP restriction. You can specify a specific IP restriction for that particular profile, which we are going to assign next. Now, save the connected app details now and scroll down. You have to select the profile which you need to authorize automatically. Here, I am going to select my system admin profile. Any user with the system admin profile will be now able to authorize using this connected app. After that, go back to the connected app details again. Click on the Manage Consumer Details option. This will show you your client ID and client secret. You can copy paste this client ID and client secret in a notepad for our next section. Create JWT assertion. For this section, we are going to follow the official document of Salesforce, which provides specific steps which you can follow to generate the JWT assertion string, which you can use in a post call to get the Salesforce access token. To generate this JWT assertion string, we are going to go on jwt.io website. Here we are going to go to JWT encoder. Remember, we are encoding our claim. Here you can clearly see the header, payload, and the key section. In the header section, as per the Salesforce documentation, we need to use RS-256 algorithm. So we are going to change that to RS-256. As soon as you change the detail, you will see on the right hand side, the token gets changed. That is the real-time token, and all this information, the header, payload, and the signature is differently color coded. So you can see where the change is happening. Now in the payload, as per the Salesforce documentation, we need to specify a specific JSON string with the specific details. First, we have the client ID, username, and the URL of your org. And the last one is the timestamp expression. This is the only one which is not constant. This is the current time with 3-minute buffer after which the token will expire. To create this string, either you can go to, for our demo, we can go to Epoch Converter website and see the current timestamp. You can add 3 minutes to it and get the string, or you can run a simple JavaScript code in your console and that will give you the timestamp with the added 3 minutes. In the last section is where we have to sign this payload with our private key. So we are going to open our private key in an editor and copy paste the content and paste it here so that this whole payload will be signed using our private key. Once that is done, we will see on the right hand side our JWT token or the assertion is ready. Now to validate that, let's move on to Postman. Let's copy the assertion and move on to Postman. So in my Postman, I have already set up the post request as per the Salesforce documentation with a specific content type and body with URL form encoded. Here in the grant type, Salesforce has a specific string, just copy paste that, and in the assertion, copy the assertion or JWT token we have just generated. Once that is done, let's see if it works. So we'll click on send and we get the access token. Now to verify this access token, I will copy the access token and run our get customer request. Here I'm going to paste the access token which we just copied in the authorization section. Then I will take an account ID from my org and see if this request works or not. Once I click on send, we get the account detail. So this concludes our video. In this video, we have successfully managed to generate a public and private key, generate a JWT assertion, authorize Salesforce with the JWT assertion, and get data from Salesforce. If you have any questions, leave them into the comment below. I will try to answer them. And please subscribe and like my channel to encourage me to create more videos like this. Thanks for watching.